Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of the On the Pony Express podcast. I am Billy Embody, joined by future SMU offensive lineman, current Miami offensive lineman, who's transferring to SMU this summer, Jakai Clark. Jakai, thanks for joining us today, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing well. No complaints here. Hopefully get some warm weather here like you have down in Miami soon, but that'll come, I'm sure, in the coming weeks. For you, I mean, right now, what's your day to day like? I mean, you're working towards that degree. You're gonna graduate here in May. What's your day to day like right now?
It's a lot more relaxed than it was when I was with the team, obviously. But it's wake up in the morning, try to get a workout in, and then usually I have class every day around 12, so I go to class, uh, set a little time, about 2 hour period to do some homework. Uh, every other day I'll go and do some O line work on the field. But I mean, like I said, it's pretty relaxing, especially now that all my recruiting is over. Uh, lot lot more free time.
And let's kind of go back. I want to start towards the beginning of your career. You played at Grayson, which for a lot of SMU fans being in Texas might not know, but one of the best high school programs at producing talent. I mean, your class that came through there. I mean, you have guys in there that are already in the league. Wanya Morris. You've got all sorts of talent that you played with. How much did that experience at Grayson really prepare you for the next level to play the Power Five level and come in and start right away?
It definitely prepared me a lot because, like you said, not only Grayson but the entire county of Gwinnett in Georgia is a big produces a lot of talent. So every week I was going against, it's high school. You're not always going against a Power Five guy or a future NFL guy, but I got some good competition while I was in high school. I got to go against guys that were going Power Five, along with playing alongside guys that were going Power Five. So I knew how to work. I knew what it took to get to that level. So um, it definitely prepared me for me getting to Miami and prepared me to be able to play early.
And when you went through your recruitment, you end up at Miami. What was that process like, and how different was it this time around for you when you approached like recruiting and kind of your priorities and all of those things?
So my my recruitment in high school was a little wild. It was I was originally committed to Auburn, and then some stuff happened there, so I ended up not being committed to Auburn anymore. Ended up committing to Illinois, and then a month later, 2 weeks or 3 weeks before signing day, Miami had called me, uh, and at that time, it was kind of like a no brainer. Like Miami was the best offer I felt like I had, and I ended up going to Miami. But this time around, it seems it was a lot easier because it was a lot shorter. So I kind of knew, okay, which schools were serious and which ones weren't almost right away. So it was easy to kind of break down and focus on certain schools. Um, and then I don't know, like the being familiar with the program and the coaches and the players on some of the players on SMU's team, uh, it just it seemed like another no brainer to me. It was an opportunity that I felt like I couldn't pass up.
And to go back a little bit, you got to Miami. Coach Justice gets hired after you're there for one season. What was that transition like when he came into the program, and how? I mean, obviously you're going to reunite with him at SMU. What does that say about him, and how did your guys' relationship just start off and get built?
I love Coach Justice when he first got there because we kind of went from our former coach before Coach Justice got there. He was more of like an NFL type guy. Um, wasn't really for college. He's still in it. He went back to the NFL after this. So, but when Coach Justice came in, he was a former player, former college player. He knew what we were going with. He was a little bit younger, so it was easier to relate with him. Yeah, he was more understanding and he was willing to learn. So, like it wasn't like if he made a mistake, he just ignored it. change it or fix it and move on. So I mean, it's just great moving or work playing for a coach like that, to where if you make a mistake, he's gonna work with you and fix you and help you get better. And it's the same thing with him. If he makes a mistake, he wants you to help him and get him better. He wants to be the best coach that he can be.
And to build off that, I mean, obviously there was change overall when Coach Justice came in. That's when Rhett Lashley came in. That's when just a bunch of coaching changes happened up there. What was the relationship building like with Coach Lashley? I mean, and some of the other guys that were on staff with that group, and how much of an impact did that have that all of these guys are now at SMU?
It had a great impact on me because that coaching staff was, in my opinion, my best years in college. It was when I was the happiest. I had the most fun coming into the building. So, I mean, it was obviously Coach Justice had something to do with that. Coach Lashley had something to do with that, but it was the entire staff really. Just like the energy that all those guys bring into the building it makes you excited to play. So. Like, and even when I took my visit and seeing all of them again, as soon as I saw them, it just put a smile on my face because, like I said, that's the energy that they bring.
And what kind of energy is that? Because we saw them take over SMU's, an interesting situation that they walked into. They're able to keep a lot of the roster intact, and then they come through this season. They have some growing pains out of the gate, and then they finish down the stretch. What is their energy like when you're a player, and how do they get kind of that energy out of you guys, I guess, and try to make you be your best on game day, especially?
They just embrace enjoying the game, embrace having fun, and nothing is so serious to where you can't enjoy doing it. So I mean, they take the game serious, and obviously they coach us up when it's time to play. It's time to play, and then when it's time to work, it's time to work. But they bring an aspect of fun and enjoyment and like I said, just energy to practice, to workouts, to everything. So that's the type of coach you want to play for, a coach that's gonna make you play better, but get the best out of you.
And when they brought you in for your visit as a transfer, what was it like? I mean, take us through, how they toured you around. What were the meetings with them like? What was their plan that they talked about for you and with you on the visit?
The first night we didn't really do much. Got to have dinner, got to see a lot of my former teammates at dinner, and reunite with them. Got to chat up with them. But the next night, they took us around campus and showed us all the class buildings. Just it's a really beautiful campus, also. So that was also something that made me want to go there. Um, but the plan, I guess the plan that they had for me was just to come in and pretty much the same plan that at any other school. No spot's going to be given to me. Come in, work for it, compete in fall camp, compete during this workouts in the summer, and um, just kind of see where you end up. You may be a starter, you may be a rotational guy, you could be a right guard, left guard, center. So it's not really any plan. It's just the plan is really just to come in and work.
And what was it like at dinner on Friday night, reuniting with so many of your teammates and being able to get back with them and just talk to them right off the bat and just be back with them?
It was um it was good. It was fun chatting, or like I said, talking to them and getting to laugh with them again, just being around them again. Those were guys in the locker room that meant a lot to our locker room in Miami. Most, really all of them are energy guys, so they bring a lot of energy to the locker room. So, like I said, just getting to see those guys again, it was fun.
And I do want to get to obviously what you're going to bring to the table, but let's kind of do a little rapid fire on your former and soon to be teammates again. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. Jalen Knighton, you blocked for him. What's Rooster like? Both on and off the field. What's your scouting report?
He's Rooster's a fierce competitor. He likes to compete in everything that he does. So that's the thing that I love about him. He's never going to back down from a challenge. He's not the biggest guy in the room, but he not afraid to lower his shoulder and run a guy over. But obviously, he has, and the thing he's probably most known for is his speed. He's always been the fastest, if not one of the fastest guys on the field whenever he's on the field. So he at any moment can break a run and take it to the house.
And then Keyshawn Smith, an explosive wideout. From what I've seen, what do you see running after him down the field as he takes one?
The thing with Keyshawn is just his crazy athleticism. He's obviously has a good frame, but he's a freak athlete. Like the dude can jump out of the gym. He's fast. He has good hands. He's like an all around receiver. So it's always exciting when you're blocking and you see the ball go into the air and you see Keyshawn go up and make a play. And he's always been a playmaker. So he's going to do the same thing at SMU.
And then, of course, you've got Jordan Miller, somebody who I think you're very familiar with on that side of the ball. You've probably had plenty of battles with him. What's that like? Who owns the all-time record in one-on-ones?
I would say it's probably tied. I know nobody wants to hear that, but it's probably tied between me and Jay Millie. It's always a good battle though. I've seen Jay Millie over the years. I remember when I first got to Miami, he was more of a power guy, and he still is more of a power guy, but he's developed into being able to do multiple things, and he's shed some weight and become a lot quicker. So like I said, he's still a power guy. He's still strong. I don't know. He was always one of the strongest guys on the team. He's like I said, it's always a fun battle though. He's another fierce competitor. He likes to compete also.
And then Elijah Roberts is a little bit more on the edge, but what have you seen from him over the course of his career?
Yeah, Elijah's by far, in my opinion, I've always felt like Elijah's had the best hands on the D line that I've seen in my times at Miami, and he's always bounced around from D end to D tackle. But no matter where he's been at, he's always been able to create havoc. He's a big tackle tackle for loss guy. He's able to get off of blocks very easily. He's kind of more of a finesse guy. So I don't know, his I guess motor is what helps him win most of the time. He's nonstop working to try to get off the block.
And then shortly before you jumped on board, SMU did get a commitment from Romello Brinson. He's on campus now. What was it like, obviously seeing him now jump into the fray, and what did you see from him as kind of the youngest guy out of the group?
Yeah, Mello, I think he is the youngest guy, but he's always been a guy with a lot of potential, and you can obviously look at his frame as well. He has crazy long arms and big hands, so he's always had a lot of potential, and I don't know if you ever saw that catch that he had against, I think that was Central Connecticut. But yeah, he's another guy that has a lot of talent, a lot of athleticism, a lot of ability. So I think now he's finally going to get a chance an opportunity to put that on the field for everybody to see, and not just the guys in practice. So it's going to be exciting to watch him.
And then, we sit back and see all of these Miami guys coming to SMU, the U to SMU. What was the recruiting process from their angle of it? Were they saying, "Hey, come on, join the movement. Let's go. Let's make this official"? I mean, what was the press like from them?
Yeah, they definitely were pressing me. A couple of the guys were definitely wanted me to jump on board with them. But it was never any. It really wasn't any type of pressure. It was just kind of like, bro, like we're here for you. We want you here, but you got to make the best decision for you. And like I said, it was never really any type of pressure. It was more of like, we want to play with you again, that type of thing. So
that's got to be a cool feeling. I mean, just to have that type of, not pressure, like you said, but be wanted by your former teammates who have a chance to reunite with you. I mean, that's got to make it special. As you guys come into SMU, and obviously you'll arrive this summer, what have you picked up from them anything about just kind of adjusting and maybe some ways that when you do get there this summer, you'll be able to kind of pick up maybe just a little quicker because they've already gone through that experience?
Well, are you saying like in workouts or like playbook or?
Yeah, workouts, playbook, how the staff does things. I know you guys are familiar with the staff, but it is just, a different environment at SMU.
Yeah, I'm not really talking to the players as much. And before this dead period, I was talking with the coaches a lot about things that they do different now. But a lot of the things that they do, as far as what I talked to when I was or what I heard when I was on my visit, is pretty much a lot of the things are the same as they were at Miami, just in terms of like the process. And now the way they do practice or the way they do workouts are obviously going to be different. But I think they're still a morning scheduled team, so it's not really that much of a uh, transfer over to what they're doing now from what I did at Miami.
Let's talk about what you did at Miami. I mean, 39 career starts in 42 games. When did you know that you were going to step right in as a true freshman and play right away? I mean, did you get the inkling that, man, I'm starting to move up the depth chart here, I'm starting to make some noise, or did it kind of catch you by surprise, I guess that year?
Yeah, no, it definitely caught me by surprise. I've told everybody that I never expected to play as a freshman. Like I didn't come in. My goal when I first got to Miami was to come in, and I just wanted to travel. So I just wanted to be in the two deep so I could go to the away games and see different stadiums and enjoy the college environment. But we go through fall camp. I think I was a second string center through fall camp, and even through our first game against Florida, week 1. I didn't play that game, and then we ended up having a bye week after that, and then that's when Coach told me that I was going to be starting at right guard the next week. And, at that time, I'm like, oh shoot, like I wasn't really thinking about playing, so I wasn't taking things way too seriously. So when he told me that, I was like, oh man, okay. Now I'm trying to scramble and get myself mentally ready to play. And I remember it's funny looking back. I remember telling Coach that I didn't feel like I was ready to play. I think it was on a Wednesday. I told him, I was like, Coach, I don't think I'm ready to play. Like I'm just not ready for this. And he told me that I was thinking like a freshman. Um, and I ended up playing. I think that was one of the best games I had that entire season.
Yeah, and to obviously get that kind of encouragement. I mean, how much did that carry you throughout the season? I'm sure there were some ups, some downs of it, but for him to say, "Quit thinking like a freshman," did that kind of, I guess, snap you into that mindset of, "Oh wow, okay, I've earned this. I am a starter, and I gotta take advantage."
Yeah, because I think him telling me that gave me the confidence that I still went into that first game scared out of my mind, but it gave me after that, and after I seen that I can compete with these guys. I think it gave me the confidence to continue to play throughout the rest of the year. Without him ever telling me that I was thinking like a freshman and trying to change my mindset a little bit, I don't know if I would have made it through the rest of the year. Starting at least.
And then Coach Justice comes in. And is this the year, I believe, that maybe you started at right guard, or did you start center and then go to right guard in 2021? So it went 2020, 2021?
Yeah, so I was 2019, I was right guard. 2020, I was left guard. 2021, I was center.
Okay, so you flipped sides in 2020. Obviously, that season was incredibly difficult for everybody to just go through and manage. I mean, what do you recall from that, especially with a new position coach and having to get to know him during COVID?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough because he had got there. Like you said, that was the beginning of COVID and everything. So we only got a couple of months with each other before everything shut down. And now we're doing stuff over Zoom, and guys are having to go outside and film themselves doing drills and send it over to coach. And now it was a lot. It was hard to really get to know him and get to know how he coaches and all that other stuff, especially since they first got there or they just got there. But they handled everything great. Obviously, when we had an opportunity to come back and really get to know each other, they kind of slowed everything down and we're like, all right, let's take the time now to sit down, get to know who we are, and get to really hang out with each other. So um, it turned out being pretty good, and I think we had a decent season that year too. Um, we just wish we would have won the bowl game, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was a pretty good year. That was interesting.
Yeah, I would imagine so. What did he do anything in particular, Coach Justice or Coach Lashley, any of those guys that really stood out, like as you guys were going through COVID and trying to navigate a season like that?
Um, I can't think of anything specific that he did. Um, I just, like I said before, he's always been the type of coach that was, open minded, always willing to learn and adjust. So, I never seen him really get too frustrated over everything that we were doing. He was always, he's always Coach Justice is always in good spirits. He's always joking, laughing, smiling. So, like he never really got down about it. I just that's the thing that he did well was just always kept us positives, kept himself positive. He never really got down about it or started complaining about it really.
And then you take over the center position in 2021, and then you stayed there this past season as well. What did you learn from playing guard to that you then took to center, and how were you able to hold that down for the last 2 years?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I learned has absolutely nothing to do with actual physical ability. It's the power of communication. I realized how important it is for a center to make calls and make sure that everybody on the line hears those calls, because your call affects everybody else's. So in a lot of offenses, the guards and the tackles can't make their call until the center makes their call. So just communication is very important when it comes to the center position. So that I guess that's the um, thing that, like, when I took over playing center in 2021, I remember telling people, I might not be the biggest guy or the strongest guy or the fastest guy, but we're going to communicate. That's one thing we're going to do. We're all going to be on the same page, because if that's half the battle right there. If we all know what we're doing, it's a lot easier to win your one on one.
And how do you build that type of communication? Because it's got to be a work in progress throughout the spring, the fall camp, and even take what happens in games and try to fix and tweak and do all of those things. How do you kind of take that leadership of the center position and talking through things and over communicating, or however your style is?
Yeah, I try not to, I guess, throw myself in there. I kind of try to ease my way in, get to know everybody one on one. Not try not to force anything. Whenever I get a chance, hang out with a guy, get to know somebody. But I think it all comes down to trust. If the guys around you know that you're able to, or know that you know what you're doing, what you're talking about, you're not just saying stuff just to say it. Eventually, they'll end up knowing what you're going to say before you even say it. So, um, no, it's just a lot of being around each other and making the right calls and just knowing what you're talking about, really.
And now that you'll be walking into a new room, you have one year remaining. What did they share with you as far as kind of what the outlook is, as far as, you mentioned already, you got to come in and earn everything, but have they talked about guard? Have they talked about center? What's kind of the plan now that you're coming to SMU and looking to, obviously cement yourself in that lineup in the final year?
Yeah, I think as far as what they've told me, it's been wherever I fit best. They're gonna shuffle some guys around throughout summer and throughout fall camp, and throughout spring, and see who plays best where. And then that I think there's a couple guys who might have gotten hurt, who they expect to be back before the season. So it's I think it's all going to come down to really fall camp as to where I play, or where I'm at throughout fall camp.
And what is kind of the focus like for you when you come in? Like, what are the things that you're going to prioritize right away? Obviously, you'll be thrown in to the mix in workouts. You'll be thrown into some meetings. How are you going to kind of set your, I guess, what's the best way for you to be successful coming into a situation like this? What do you think?
Just I mean, the way I feel is just come in and read the room. I guess just see how guys are around each other, and I mean, I'm gonna come in and be myself, but if things are done a certain way, I'm gonna go along with that. So I'm gonna come in and just try to get to know everybody. Really, just show everybody that I'm willing to work. I'm not really here just for a free handout. I want to work for it. Um, I don't know. I don't want people to look at the fact that I've started this many games as I think that I'm going to come in and start right away. I want to show guys that I'm working, that I'm willing to work, and I am going to work. So I think that's what the summer is for me.
What are the strengths for you in your game? Like, where do you feel like you're going to help this team the most? And whether it be you love run blocking, you really think you excel at pass protection. What are the pieces of your game that really stand out to you when you self scout?
I'll say probably excluding last year, my pass blocking. I had a pretty good pass blocking grade for all my other years of playing. So my pass blocking is probably the best part of my game. But I would say not physically, mentally, I think my knowledge of the game is probably what helps me the best. I've been playing football since I was 5, and I've really played center since I was 5, with the exception of the couple of years I was at Miami. So it's just being familiar with how the center position works, and having played it so long, it really helps me with my feel of the game and just reacting to things that are going on the field.
And you come into a situation where SMU has high expectations. They went to a bowl in the first year under Coach Lashley. I mean, how do you try to, be a piece that brings it to the next level? I mean, is that something you guys, maybe the Miami guys are already talking about? Hey, let's keep this thing rolling. Let's get here and let's ball out and make it a huge 2023 season.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's mindset right now is that we're expecting to have a really good year this year. And then we want, I don't know, we just, it's exciting just talking with the guys at Miami, just the mindset of everybody else on the team, just how everybody's pumped up for the season. And like I said, everybody is expecting to have a great year this year. We should win a lot of games. I'll say that.
Anything in particular you're most excited about when it comes to getting to SMU and being in Dallas and things like that?
I guess just it really has nothing to do with SMU itself. Just getting a breath of fresh air. I guess just want to get a fresh start, reset my mind, clear my mind, and basically start all over. I guess that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Is it nice to have these few months? I mean, you're working out and you're getting in, continuing to stay in shape for when you get to summer workouts. But is it nice after all the games that you've played to know that, all right, I don't have spring practice coming up here?
Yeah, yeah.
Little reset.
Yeah, it's definitely, my body definitely appreciates it. It is. I do miss it. Obviously, I want to be on the field right now. But like I said, it's not hurting my body in any way. My body definitely, especially after last year, I felt kind of beat up. So my body definitely needed a little bit of a break.
Well, cool. Well, I feel like we can go on for a while longer, but you've been great. You've been awesome with your time, and I really, really appreciate it. I'm excited. You're the first one to get on the podcast this off season. We can hopefully get the rest of the Miami crew on here and talking. Maybe we can do I don't know what it would be. You know, I know the Red Zone has like the quad box or whatever, but I don't know how many of you guys we could fit on here. We can do a little round table or something, but we've fun at some point.
Yeah, I can talk to them about it, see if they'll do it.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Jakai, and best of luck. Enjoy graduating with your degree here in May, and we'll see you on the hilltop this summer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Jakai Clark joining us on the Pony Express podcast. Appreciate you guys listening. Hit that subscribe button for us, and we will catch you next time. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And thanks to Jakai Clark again for joining us on this edition. Have a good one, everyone.